Um. Okay. So first of all, I have a confession. Well, I have two.
Wait, let's. Is this confession need to have on the record? Because if not, we need to clap.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. 3, 2, 1.
That felt good.
Okay. My first confession
All right.
is I had some dentistry done today, and my mouth is still frozen.
Ooh.
So I might slur a bit, and I might slurp a bit when I drink. So,
Okay.
so, and my second confession is that I have an open drink here, a beverage of choice. And the third confession I have is that this is not our first time recording this.
Okay. First of all, that's technically my confession, so you can't steal that. Because now you're trauma outing me for
No.
having my computer restart at the very end of our recording.
Dutch's confession is that she doesn't do Windows updates.
I do now.
She delays them and delays them.
Well, because every time it happens, I'm like in the middle of something. Like it doesn't remind me when I first start up my computer. Like I'm like, okay, first start up, give me a reminder, click it, restart. Okay, cool. I'll be like in the middle of like doing something.
Do you not turn your computer off when you go to bed?
Yeah. Oh. I do the update whatever. But sometimes it doesn't do it. It's like mid. I'm like in the middle of doing stuff on my computer, and it's like, do you want to do this now? I'm like, no, I'll do it when I restart my computer.
Not now, Windows.
Yeah, but then it just rogue went, okay, bye, everybody. It's time. This is it.
But for the audience, they might not know, but the funny part is it was right when we were doing our outros.
Yeah.
And then her computer shut down, and then I was just all alone doing the outro.
So
and then maybe I'll like record my like it'll just be my audio because we lost Dutch's audio, but maybe I'll intersplice right here like just me realizing that we're gonna have to record it again.
Yeah. Because the thing too is like we dropped from the call, right? So it's probably you just still talking, being like, "Hello, who are you?"
Yeah,
and then me
and then
panicking.
you texted me, and I'm like, "No."
Yeah. We checked back files. We checked cache. I checked.
We shook the computer upside down.
Nothing. But now, so two confessions is, one, I will now always double check my computer's up to date before we record, and two, I do project save as before we start recording so that it's saving
and now I
somewhere.
do that too. We live and we learn.
The next thing is would be to have another device outside of my computer recording with shitty audio, but I don't want to do that. So this is the life we live.
True, yeah. Too redundant. We're not experts.
But here's the thing: is the second time doing it, Deep Throat will be that much more educated and ready to go. Right?
Maybe. Usually, maybe I might be, or usually I will have read it, but now we're kind of scratching the bottom of the barrel of my short-term memory because I've now read it 2 weeks ago, so. We'll it's all in there. Don't worry, guys.
I think it'll be a beautiful
Buchanan.
mind moment.
His name was James Buchanan.
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 He was the 15th president. Here, wait. Let me test your knowledge. See.
Uh-oh.
Because I did explain this to you once before, so maybe you could tell me was he a good president?
No.
Was he your favorite?
No.
Why not?
Because didn't he, jerk people around a little bit?
Yeah, okay, well, here I have a list of talking points, so maybe I won't do it in order, I'll just, I'll see if you can hit all my talking points, maybe. Okay, so
okay.
he was kind of okay, first of all, fun facts. He was the last president to serve in the War of 1812. Oh yeah, I just forgot a thing to add to my list. Rufus.
Wainwright?
He was the last president. No, Rufus King.
Oh, right, the
his
lover.
So he was the last president to serve in the military in the War of 1812, but he was only a private. He was the only president who, cancel. He was the only president who wasn't like a general or anything.
Which
Probably
makes
because he
sense.
was younger.
Yeah, makes sense because like we're getting into presidents that were young.
Mm-hmm. Like
During
when
that
was
time.
he born here? Yeah, so he would have been like, oh god, he would have been just a wee babe. He might not even been 18 yet. In 1812,
Wow.
he would have been just a teen. 9 years plus 12 is 20. Oh no, he would have been in his early 20s. Just a babe. But so yeah, he kind of. Did you say he jerked people around?
Yeah, like I feel like didn't he like, I feel like he like
Is
looked
that
up
a euphemism?
to he jerked someone around. Because I think he looked up to Polk and his like strategies and how he did it, and so he wanted to be similar. But I feel like the current climate of the U.S. was so polarized that he wasn't able to actually put through any sort of legislation because they just didn't trust him.
When he was president?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like first of all, he was a big fan of Andrew Jackson. He wasn't originally a
that's the
fan
one.
of him, but when he figured out that other people were a fan of him, he became one. So
He's a bandwagoner.
yeah,
like
it
hopping on
speaks
the
to his
bandwagon.
character. He goes with what's popular, I guess. But he was served during the Andrew Jackson administration. Though he was the minister of Russia, and so he went to I guess Russia, and he helped. He made some deals with trade and stuff, and he learned French, the trade language apparently back then
Oh,
of the 19th century. That's how the French would trade.
that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I bet you didn't know that France was the trading language.
I know. It's like what happened. Now it's the most romantic language. So somewhere something changed.
You don't think trade is romantic?
Not really.
I'll trade you this. You trade me
Uh,
that.
I don't know.
Oh.
But who am I? Who am I to say what is
Who are we
romantic
to say
and
what
isn't?
romance?
You know,
Especially in the 19th century.
to each their own. Imports, exports.
Oh.
Well, who knows?
Is there hot in here? Yeah, so during the Andrew Jackson, he was minister of Russia, and then during the he then became a senator, and then he was opposed to the Second Bank of the United States, which we all very much still are not sure what that is. I think businesses, banks, private, public, who knows.
You know, it was a bank.
Here's an interesting thing that I found notable was he opposed the gag rule. Okay, first of all, big supporter.
I remember the gag rule. That's where you couldn't talk about slavery during politics, right?
Mm-hmm, that's right. But he opposed that. But what I haven't mentioned yet is that he was a big believer in states' rights.
Right.
He wasn't a fan of slavery, but he believed that it wasn't up to the federal government to say whether it was right or wrong. But the thing I found interesting about him was that he opposed the gag rule, which means that he
wanted to
against...
talk about it.
Yeah, well, I don't think he wanted to talk about it, but he didn't want it. He didn't want to have the anti-slavery people have their voice suppressed because he thought that would make them angrier.
That makes sense. And I think, too, it's like, that's what all debate is all about, right? You gotta let everyone say their own sides.
Mm-hmm. And he thought it would, like, strengthen the abolitionists, so... But I don't know. It's kind of like this guy is, like, as we'll learn later, he really tried to have it both ways.
Got it. So just, like, was like a... Yeah, that's, I guess, what I say, jerk people around, you know? That still stands.
Yeah. Yeah, he was here and he was there.
Sam, I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. With a fox in a box. Dr. Seuss.
Chicken pox.
Whoa. Too soon.
Too soon? What? What do you mean?
I don't know. We're talking about, like, back in the 1800s. Smallpox exists. Chicken pox too soon.
But why is it too soon?
Because I love saying too soon to things that were like centuries ago.
Too soon.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, Big Bang Theory.
Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon.
Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just saying things to fill the void.
What's interesting is last time we recorded this, I just felt like I didn't have enough time, but now I feel like I have all the time in the world.
Cruising.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think we should maybe, I don't know if we can listen to a section of it and give commentary. Oh, I guess we could. You're gonna put the ending in it. Never mind. That's probably the best part.
Yeah. That is the best part because it's just like the realization setting in.
It's you by yourself.
Yeah.
Because when I called you back, were you still recording?
Like you texted me. You texted me and you're like, my computer turned off, and I was like, oh. And then like you can like that's all recorded, like you can see it like setting in like just the realization that that it's a complete redo over like right as the credits are rolling.
Amazing. Just an hour.
An hour of our lives. The funny thing is I made a prediction and now you'll never know what it is.
Oh, in the recording? You made a prediction?
Yeah, I made a prophecy.
It's like a time capsule.
Yep. But it will mean nothing because you can just create voices with AI now. And it's not time, like, there's no timestamp on it, so it'll mean nothing.
I mean, there's a timestamp on the file.
Oh, that can be faked. It's just ones and zeros.
I know, but I feel like you would be truthful if it has meaning to it.
I would not be truthful. I would be the first person to tamper with a timestamp. Yep.
Wow. This just in. Deep Throat's shady. Living up to your living up to your nickname.
Timestamps. Oh, you know what? Okay, this didn't happen last time we recorded. But did you hear the news? Current events.
About isn't Trump getting indicted or something?
Yeah, I think
for like 30 plus. Yeah, he left on a plane, and I saw there was an airplane that left with him on it to like turn himself into the charges.
Yeah, he got off his big Trump plane. Yeah, so I don't know. He was just like, it was just so. Did you see the like pictures of him coming in the courtroom? Or there's not. Also a video. Oh, he was just so. He looked so grumpy and sad. Not that I felt. I'm like, oh wait, I forgot. I haven't released my opinion of Donald Trump yet. I'm saving that for.
I mean, I feel like we've. I mean, here I'll say it here first. I don't like him. There goes.
It was like the first time like he couldn't talk and like like he had to keep his trap shut.
Yep, that's a narcissist for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't know how long this will take. This process, probably a long time.
Very long time. But
I kind of wish that they televised it though.
I mean, that was the thing, right? The reason they televised the other famous trial, well, actually there's been two now, for celebrity, was the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. And the only reason they televised that was because the judge was like, I don't want my courtroom to become a circus because I know people are going to be lining up around the block to get in here. So we're going to televise it and make it public so that we don't have as many people coming in to break in. Because like, we can't control it. We can't tell people no. It's just going to be a madhouse. And it was still a madhouse. People were like lining up overnight to like get into the courtroom.
There's like YouTube videos of people like making commentary on it. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, here's the thing. I am not I don't know a lot about law. I know like the basics based off of like, like watching TV shows and like the kind of information they give you. But the greatest entertainment I got from that was watching live YouTube coverage. So like not the like ABC or like CNN version of it, but like YouTube content creators who are like law-based people who like are either current lawyers or ex-lawyers who are just watching it and just like, and what was great is there's a bunch of just like law buddies. So there's a bunch of people that they would get into a group call. There'd be like 6 of them, and they would all just be hanging out talking about it, and they would explain kind of like, okay, this is like anytime you have those like weird like long pauses in the courtroom, they'd be like, all right, so the this side of the like Amber Heard's lawyers are trying to do A, B, and C. Okay, now we're switching over, and they're gonna try and debunk everything that they said, and then we're gonna predict like what the outcome's gonna be. So it was really fun because like one, it was like kind of an educational purpose, and it wasn't so much just like celebrity gossip smearing each other's names through it all. So
who's pooping in whose bed? Who knows?
Exactly. Who knows?
Was it the dog? Was it Johnny Depp?
Amber Turd.
Amber Turd.
It was a wild. That was a wild time.
I remember, this is the only memory I have of that whole event, was I was just browsing YouTube as one does, and then I was clickbaited into a video that said, "Ooh. You won't believe Johnny Depp's reaction, blah, blah, blah." And then I clicked on it. It's a 2-minute video of Johnny Depp doing nothing. There's no reaction. It's just him not making any reaction at all. And
awkward.
I said, I want my 2 minutes back.
Did you accidentally pause the video? Was it just like a still image?
Maybe. That is entirely possible. That's how little action there was in this video. It was the lack of reaction.
I don't like it.
And then I said, never again. Never again will I be clickbaited.
We're gonna have to. I mean, my biggest thing is there's the Aquaman movie coming out with Jason Momoa, and
she. So who is she playing that?
She plays. She plays like a princess or like a lady of the under aqua people, and is technically supposed to be a love interest for Jason Momoa's character, but the I don't know what's that. The chemistry I think is a little lacking. But there's
she's looking romantic.
Well, it's kind of like
how can you love a fish, really?
I mean, it's Jason Momoa. If Jason Momoa was a fish, I would love him. That's pretty easy thing to do.
Does he have gills?
Not really.
No.
No, he just like his lungs can just like process the water, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah. But apparently she filmed part of. She's supposed to be in the latest, like the next one that's coming out soon, and we don't know if she's been cut out of it or not. Like, I don't know if they just edited her out completely.
I don't know. I don't watch superhero movies too much these days. Oh. I personally, I don't know. Like, to be honest, I didn't know her too much beforehand, so.
It's crazy to go back and, like, I was the same, and I remember looking up her, like, history of films. She's been in a lot of films as, like, secondary person, and I just didn't remember.
Right.
Which is just wild.
I don't know. It's just like I feel like they both have exhausted my attention for them.
Oh, 100%.
Like I'll still appreciate Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever. It's like Kevin Spacey. They've exhausted my interest in them.
Yeah, I appreciate what they brought during their time, but their time in the light.
Oh yeah, maybe Kevin Spacey.
Maybe.
What was he good? He was good in Usual Suspects.
Usual Suspects. He was in House of Cards. He was in that one movie, Pay It Forward, I think.
Yeah, I think the problem with Kevin Spacey is I just like see him as a creep now.
Yeah.
Like, and because he was always a creep, but you're like, oh, it's Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
But now you know he's a creep. Yeah, you know he's not acting now.
Yeah,
all actors are creeps.
Yeah, I think so. I think all actors, everyone needs to be a little bit. Well, I think
creepy.
You have to be
creepy though.
I say, well, maybe not creepy, but you definitely have to be
psychopath.
I don't know. It's like I think you have to be a certain type of person to find joy in being in the public eye that much.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
Right. I don't know if it's a strength or a weakness, but it's definitely something. Sorry, we got.
I'd hate to be president.
I would hate to be.
See how I brought it back there?
I like your.
I would hate to be president of the United States.
That's what it was. I like the
not
way
vote for
he
me.
said it, of like, I would hate to be president, which was such grammatically broken. Man, do I love being president. Oh no, Deep Throat's,
boy.
he's an AI. He's an AI!
I've been an AI the whole time.
He's just watching TV. Alright,
Yeah,
tell me more.
I'm phoning it in. Okay, what do we hit here? So he's Andrew I'm just checking my notes. This time I have notes. Didn't believe in slavery, believed in state rights and manifest destiny. What a contradiction. Check, check, check. Opposed the gay group. Okay, so did I talk about James Polk?
No.
You remember James Polk, the
I
man
remember.
who did what he said he would, and then he did, and then he got out. You might not respect him, but at least he did what he said he'd do.
But dang, did he sure do something.
He probably was a terrible person.
Yep.
But at least he would admit it. I don't know if he would admit it. Don't take this as a strong stance. This is a strong opinion, loosely held. So he was Secretary of State for James Polk. He was the one who helped kind of decide, to my knowledge, on the 49th parallel. For between the British and like what's now Canada border.
Right.
He had a lot of decision in that. After the outbreak of the Mexican-American War, he advised Polk against taking territory south of the Rio Grande in New Mexico. And he was oh yeah, here's an interesting thing. Yeah, so basically he was Secretary of State for James Polk. He was heavily involved in that administration's Manifest Destiny, Start Wars, Buy Land, America.
I like that as like, you know, the girl boss gatekeep.
Yeah. Wait, how can we turn that into So how can we turn that into
manifest Start Wars America?
Start blame people and start wars, lie about wars, start wars, buy land.
Start wars, buy land.
What are the four things that he did again? Polk, he
invaded. Start wars, cause mayhem, and lie, or something like that. Yeah.
Buy slaves under the table.
Buy slaves under the table.
But don't tell anyone, because you
don't tell anyone.
Yeah, there's I don't know, like it's hard to do on a podcast, but there's a picture of like the James Polk administration with like the five guys, and they just look like the devil. They look like five. Like,
oh, is it like a propaganda,
devils.
like little cartoon?
No, it's just a picture of them like chilling. Like it's the four guys, like his administration sitting on their chairs in their like tuxedos with their like what are they called, cavots or like just like big poofy neck things.
Ascots.
Ascots, sure, I think so. Ascots, and then he's like standing in the middle, and none of them are looking at the camera because they don't know that you're supposed to do that, and they're just staring off in the distance, dead faced.
Yep. Well, it's probably one of those like cameras you have to like stay still for like 30 minutes.
Maybe they're all dead in this picture because
whoa,
quite in focus.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Call back.
Okay. Call back. Okay, so here's like one thing I found funny about him was he was the ambassador during the Zachary Taylor administration.
Okay.
He returned to private life because he was like, well, I'm not going to participate in this. So he bought a house in Wheatland on the outskirts of Lancaster, and he just kind of had like little social gatherings while monitoring what was going on in the world.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we were talking about this last time, but hey, Dutch, have you ever heard of the term doughface?
Oh, I feel like I've heard it before, but that's the first time I'm hearing it. Could you give me a definition?
Oh, it's a face where it's a face made of dough, and so people can easily just stick their thumb in there and make an impression on you. It's like you're a pliable person.
Got it. So he's easily manipulated.
He's malleable.
Malleable, like a piece of dough. Wow.
He can believe in one thing, but if he finds that something else is popular, he'll easily change his stance.
Interesting.
So a lot of people call him a dough face. Which I think we personally, I think we should bring that term back.
I love how creative political insults are. Because, like, in theory, if someone called me a dough face, I'd be like, okay, cool, like, whatever.
Cool,
but
whatever that means, yeah.
Whatever that means, but, like, the levels of how it's just great. It's a bunch of nerds trying to be bullies, but, like, not really doing very well at it.
Yeah, and that's like, and they call that politics. Like, that's that's what politics is. Man, I'm so, like, I don't know. It's funny that this is me getting real, but it's funny that we're ending up talking about, like, this, because I hate politics.
I know, right? Me too.
What a farce.
I don't know if I hate politics, but I definitely am not as well equipped with the knowledge as a lot of people are, or I don't find the joy. I'm always marvel at the people who, like, enjoy it and follow it and like, can understand it. And I mean, I think it's possible for anyone to really learn it, but
a lot of it I find is, pardon my French, the language of trade, but I think a lot of it is just a big circle jerk.
Yeah.
This is a huge circle jerk.
Yeah. And I would rather just stay home and play The Sims.
Yeah, or do anything.
Or do anything.
You could even just go to an actual circle jerk and it might be better. Who knows? Maybe James Buchanan will be there. Have we said that? Yeah, we talked about it.
We talked about it during mine, because he was, his presumed partner was the vice president of, what's his face, that I definitely remember his name. Insert name here. Blah, blah.
Yeah, I guess chronically, this is where it kind of happens, right? So
yeah,
he was in his private life. He bought a tent, like, little place. He bought a house, and he moved in with William Rufus King. That's his name.
It's
William Rufus Devon King.
Devon King, which is a very strong name.
Long name, yeah.
Long
Rufus
and strong.
I'm assuming it's Devon. Maybe it's Devane.
Devane.
Devane sounds nicer. Devon. Yeah. So he was a dough face. He had a secret love life. At the Democratic National Convention, he won the support of many Southern delegates. Surprise, surprise. But he failed to win the 2/3 support needed for the presidential nomination. And that's how we got Franklin Pierce. Who was the guy before? I guess it was Franklin Pierce, yeah? Yeah. So
the president before was Franklin Pierce, yeah. Who King was the vice president for, but then died like a couple years into his term. Yeah. Yeah,
so he declined to be vice president, so William King took it, and then he passed away. It's funny, like, I'm not a big fan of this guy, James Buchanan, but for some reason, this William Rufus King's guy's Wikipedia's page is a lot shorter, and he seems okay to me.
Yeah, I think if he hadn't have died, I think he would have either ran for president or would have been a really good candidate for something else.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But instead, we got Lincoln.
Which is, well, who knows? I don't know anything about him yet, so...
Who? Huh? What?
Who's this guy? Is he honest?
Honest Abe.
Yeah, so what as I was saying earlier, though, like, my favorite part about this time period is, so he accepted during the Franklin Pierce administration, he accepted the position of United States Minister to the United Kingdom. So he kind of spent a lot of time over in England, and because he was so far away from all the politics, that's kind of why he was placed. He was kind of, they're like, well, this guy hasn't burned his reputation yet, so maybe he could be president.
Oh, so like he hasn't been here in a while, so maybe he'll have like a fresh mind to come in and like shake things up a bit, but then he shook things up in the wrong way.
No, I think he shook. Okay, let me try to remember here. Buchanan sailed for England in the summer of 1853, and he remained abroad for the next 3 years. In 1850, the United States and Great Britain signed the Clayton-Bulwer Treaty. I think that's what, which committed both sides. Oh, okay, this seems irrelevant. Buchanan met repeatedly with Lord Kyron, blah, blah, blah. At Pierce's prompting, blah, blah, blah. Hold on, where is it? The Austin Manifesto. And okay, I think so. I think this is it. A memorandum draft resulted called the Austin Manifesto, which proposed the purchase of Cuba from Spain, then in the midst of revolution and near bankruptcy. The document declared the island necessary to the North American Republic as any of the. Oh my God, I can't read tonight. It's because I went to the dentist. Remember, that's completely blaming all.
And for some reason, he put the needles in my eyes.
Yeah, and I can't read. As necessary to the North American Republic as any of its present family of states. You know what? I think that I'm not making a point here. And I just scrolled to the top of this page. Anyways, we can skip this. All right,
so what I got was that he had been in the UK for a really long time, and so they had him run for the Democratic leader because they're like, oh, he hasn't been in all of this madness for a few years. Let's bring in a fresh pair of eyes and brain politics. He's been in the UK. Maybe he's learned something over there that we might need that might help us get through this madness. You know, because the UK has slaves and they're fine. And so then he came in, and then they were like, oh shit, he's not really, he's just kind of dancing on the line and kind of saying yes to both sides without coming up with solutions.
I remember, I found the paragraph I was looking for. So, that's what you said, and the thing that was that like had burned the reputation of it was called the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Which to my memory was these places were just becoming states. Right, I remember now. Okay, so Kansas was just becoming a state, and they were trying to figure out what should we have legally, should slavery be legal in this state or not? Actually, I think this was Nebraska too, but a lot of people burned their reputation like between the two sides. While he did not overtly seek the presidency, he assented to the movement on his behalf. Of running for president in this.
Caught it.
Yeah.
He was like,
how are we doing for timing?
You're good. We're halfway through. So it sounds as though he would. I'm gonna like the fantasy scenario in my head was like he was just like he got back from the UK, and like he did the awkward like, so who's gonna be the next president? I wouldn't mind being, I wouldn't mind being president, and then just kind of like slipped that into like cocktail parties, and eventually they were like, oh, I heard James Buchanan is the next president. And they're like, James Buchanan is the next president? I didn't hear that. I don't know. That's what he said. And then they just kind of just did it.
Oh. And then they're like, we should maybe do that for one president. We just make it up and see if anyone knows.
We should. We'll do it for Abraham Lincoln. Just kidding.
Yeah. People will love us. People will love that. So the Civil War, how did it start? What'd you say?
The Civil War started because James Buchanan farted, and Abraham Lincoln didn't say "excuse me." Abraham Lincoln
on his behalf.
Yeah. He just like did the normal thing you do is you just ignore it and you don't.
Yeah.
You don't,
he said if you smelt it, you dealt it.
Dealt it. Yeah. And then James Buchanan got jealous or got like nervous that he was going to like tell the rest of the political party that he farted, and so then he was like, a war,
Mm. And then Abraham said it was not me, and that's how he got his name, Honest Abe.
Yep.
Now you know, everyone.
That's how it went.
That's how it went. We simply are reading from Wikipedia.
I don't want to tell you. It's just how history went. All right. I'm just the messenger, and that's all I can say.
Okay. So, yeah. Check out this. So, the fugitive slave law. You remember it?
Yes, that's the if lawmakers in the North find out someone is an escaped slave, they are legally bound to return them back to the South.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
they gotta send them back. And then I just remembered. I found this great thing that I read last week. Oh, where is it? It's not here anymore. Does Wikipedia change that often? There was this great. Oh, maybe I read it another week. Oh, it's so hard to keep track.
Time.
How are we doing this episode? Is it a bumpy road?
I'm feeling. I mean, I think. Hey, let's be honest. Every episode is bumpy road.
I'm trying to remember. True.
Every episode. I really think we only had one really good episode, and I think that's the one episode I had a couple of drinks. So I think that might have been why I was thinking.
To notice a pattern.
Maybe.
And every episode I'll have a few drinks.
Because I do remember one episode. It's like, man, we're on a roll, but I think that was just the alcohol confidence. But I think every episode.
The inverse of that right now.
Oh no! Okay, I'm here. It's okay. We're doing great. We're killing it. We talked about farts. We talked about Johnny Depp. We talked about we had confessions. Amber Turd. Like, we did everything. We talked about fish.
We talked about Donald Trump.
I mean.
Okay. Yeah. So let me like just kind of set the scene. So this is how James Buchanan ended up being president. So he came back from the UK. Shit was hitting the fan. Everyone was pointing fingers at everyone. He's like, "Hey, I'm back," and they're like, "Okay." Who
are you?
So at the time, we're familiar with the man Millard Fillmore.
Yes.
Millard Fillmore was now a full-blown racist. I don't know if that's true. But he was joining the Know Nothing Party, which is like the Fight Club of political parties.
I like that I like the term that now he was a racist.
A full-blown racist. The Whigs were a bust.
The training wheels are off.
Full racist. Training wheels are off. So he was in the Know Nothing Party, which I don't know if we've talked about that, but basically if anyone asks, you say you know nothing.
Oh, interesting.
And of course, the Honorable John C. Fremont, who was the first person of the Republican Party. Even before Abraham Lincoln, he was the creator of the Republican Party. He didn't win the first time, but he was the first to run as the Republican Party.
Right. I do remember you talking about that before, where he was like the first spark for, like, you know that I don't know if you noticed that there's like the social media trend where it's like she strutted her stuff, mama. She did it so Peppa could run. Mm-hmm. It's like that, but for presidents.
John Charles Fremont walked so Abraham Lincoln could run.
There you go.
And if you go to his Wikipedia page, John C. Fremont, there's this wonderful picture of him. He kind of looks like Bradley Cooper, looking off to the side camera in a nice dapper suit, and he's holding a straw hat in his hand.
Wow. And all this nice trade accents. Ooh la la.
Yeah, I kind of got a man crush.
Oh. What's his name again, sorry?
John C. Fremont. John Charles Fremont. American explorer, military officer, and politician. He was a United States Senator for California and was the first Republican nominee for president of the U.S. in 1856. Founder of the California Republican Party. Buchanan did not campaign at the time, but he wrote letters pledging to the Democratic platform. In the election, he carried every slave state except for Maryland, and was, as well as 5 slavery-free states, including his home state of Pennsylvania. And he eventually ended up winning because the world was not ready for John C. Fremont.
Wow, and it's funny that he just never did anything afterwards, right?
Yeah, well, I guess like Abraham Lincoln kind of took the stage there.
Right.
Okay, let me see what so there. I'd say there's about 4. So we talked about Rufus. I think we did that justice. We talked about it last episode. Talked about that. Okay, so I'd say there's 6 important things that we should talk about in the last 20 minutes.
6.
First of all is Dred Scott. So once oh yeah, this is a good example of how slimy James Buchanan. Whoa, cool! You just sent me a Pokemon card of General Fremont.
Yeah.
Well, look at all his HP.
I know, it's crazy.
Look
at
these guys.
I don't know what this one move is, but it's fighting grass, electric, and psychic. The career of John Charles Fremont, who became known as the Great Pathfinder. Fremont was one of the 4 major generals appointed by the President Lincoln. He was easily the most celebrated as a Union general. So there you go. So he did stuff. He just did it under the Lincoln administration. 120 HP, folks. That's crazy.
And he's a rock type Pokemon.
Interesting. A rock. Well, I think that's fighting. It's the fist.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
Oh my God, Deep Throat is a fake Pokemon fan.
Fake Pokemon. I played the video games.
What's the
last one? I never knew how to play
played?
the card game. What?
What's Fire? Oh, that's the last one you played?
Yeah. Oh, I played Ruby? No.
Wow. I don't know if I can do this podcast anymore, guys.
No, I just play Fire Red over and over again because it's a classic. It's a fresh take on a classic game.
Yikes. I can't talk. I still haven't finished Shield, which came out like 5 years ago, so it's fine.
Yikes. I don't have a DS. I don't have a DS.
No, it's on the Switch.
Oh, is it? I don't have a Switch. Yeah. I'm an emulator.
Ooh.
I play it on my phone.
I think you can
Or
emulate
on a
it.
Raspberry Pi.
Actually, I don't know. Nintendo's pretty tight. They're pretty tight ship.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
I'm waiting for the remake. I'm waiting for the AI remaster.
The AI remaster of Pokemon Red?
Mm-hmm. Fire Red.
Fire Red. Red was pretty dope. I had that one too when I was a youth. Anyway, sorry, your 6 facts as I distracted you with Pokemon card.
Yeah, no worries. I don't like messing with a good thing. I just like. Anyways, okay. So Dred Scott. So Dred Scott was a slave, and I remember last week I had the hardest time remembering where he was a slave. So I'm not going to waste time trying to remember. But he went to another place where slavery was illegal for 5 years. Like his owner.
Yeah.
His owner took him to a state where where slavery was illegal, and then he brought him back home. And then Dred Scott said, technically I should be free because I was living in a state where slavery was illegal. And so this went all the way to the Supreme Court. And back then the Supreme Court was corrupt. Just I think
I was going to say that was my joke from last time before we lost it. And as opposed to now.
And so, yeah. So basically, some guy on, I think Chief Justice Roger B. Taney, don't quote me on that, but I think that was who it was, basically spoke to Buchanan as he was becoming president, and he said, hey, listen, this case he's not going to win. Like, we're going to determine this. And then so Buchanan made an announcement, and he said, whatever the outcome of this is, will determine what is the law. And then, but he already knew what the answer would be. And so he lost a lot of reputation because I believe that got leaked that he knew.
Got it. So he was trying to make it look like he was like, oh, look how great I am.
Impartial.
I'm impartial. Like, I'm going to follow whatever they do, whether it's he's a free man or not, I'm going to follow what they say, even though he knew full well what the outcome was going to be. So it was like a safe bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think because of that, a lot of people lost respect for him, and that this is kind of the time. I didn't say this before, but this is kind of the time where we are ramping into the Civil War.
Imagine
because
if they had emails. Imagine if they had emails back then and they leaked James Buchanan's emails. He would have been dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. There would have been Pizza Gates, but it would have been real.
The worst.
Oh yeah, I remember a time at Pizzagate. Okay, so basically, okay, so that's Dred Scott. Panic of 1857. This is okay. So so there was back then there was this new technology called trains, right? And they worked on rails. And it was the hot new thing. Have you heard about trains? Have you heard about railroads?
What's a train?
Invest now. Get your money. Oh, you don't have your money in railroad stocks.
You're crazy.
Have fun staying poor. And then and then so it became this bubble where everyone was building a railroad, buying railroad stocks that. It eventually led to a bubble, and there was a panic of 1857, because the whole stocks, the stock market for trains crashed.
Whoa, train crash.
Train crash. This is after the last guy. What was that guy's name again?
Franklin Pierce.
Yeah, Franklin Pierce.
Yeah, and they wanted to build a train from California up to somewhere for people trying to migrate to the West.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's a train that goes from Texas, or there was during the later end of the Oregon Trail. People used to obviously caravan up through the middle of the U.S. to get up to Oregon and North Carolina, and it was a death sentence basically because people would just die of dysentery and the weather and then also just bandits on the road. So they built a train so that people could travel safely, but then obviously it was the rich that did that, and then the poor still had to caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's my 2 cents. We're gonna take a train to the moon.
Whoa.
But then the train crashed.
Occupy Occupy the moon.
Occupy the moon.
Okay, I think that's a Panic of 1857. What
sure,
we're gonna what?
I said I think we're going to the moon. I think they announced there's me specifically. No. I think NASA announced
the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna eventually when we get to Obama, we're gonna be broadcasting from the moon.
Oh wait, can we do it for JFK? Then I'll say in this decade we'll go to the moon and do other things.
Okay, I'll have to talk to the scientists. I'm not sure if we can make it that short time schedule, but I'll
it's only a couple
get back
weeks,
to you.
Surely we could.
Surely.
It's only about half a year.
No, but NASA announced that they're doing training. They're doing they're doing an orbit, and then in 2 or 3 years, they're eventually that orbit will become to be a moon landing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they're going back.
They're going back.
Or
I
maybe
mean, they're
going for the first time.
First time, yeah. There's conspiracies out there that says they never went. It was all fake.
I want to see those prints. I want to see pictures of Neil Armstrong's feet.
But now with
I
AI,
want feet pics. Yeah, that's true. Nothing's real.
Got check the hands. Check the hands.
Did you see that picture of the Pope in a puffer jacket?
I did.
I've also going around.
Yep.
It was your what?
I've also been. I saw the Balenciaga, the Harry Potter Balenciaga.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. Dobby's a free elf. That's classic. Yeah, if anyone,
your
Balenciaga,
has seen that, Harry.
Type in Harry Potter Balenciaga.
I've seen the Pope. Yeah.
Oh, just wait.
But the Pope
it's gonna be so much more believable.
The Pope one's fake, though, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, they're both fake.
They're both. Well, I knew that obviously the Balenciaga one was, but.
Dobby. Okay. Dobby. Okay, Utah War.
You just went somewhere there, and I don't know where it was, but it was another level. I don't know what happened.
I'm kind of off the rails tonight. I think it's because I had a dentist appointment. I think that's why.
What? I didn't know you went to the dentist. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm all doped up right now on dentist stuff. My whole head's frozen. I can't feel my face. Anyways, okay, check it out. Utah War in 2 minutes. So Utah, owned by Brigham Young and the Latter-day Saints. I think it was Millard Fillmore. He's like, here, have you look like you are a prophet. Have this state. And so they grew very hostile to the government as they did. Because they are prophets. They are the prophets of the latter day. And no offense if anyone who our fans are Mormons.
Full offense. No. Full offense from my side. No offense from D Throat, but
a little offense for me. But don't search me. Don't look me up.
Don't look Deep Throat up.
Don't Google me. Don't Google Deep Throat, okay? Don't even think about it.
You can Google Dutch, though. You guys are more than welcome to Google Dutch. Specifically those Dutch wagon wheel cookies. Those ones are great.
Yeah. Good luck finding us. We cover our tracks.
You'll probably find me before you'll find Deep Throat.
Probably. We do know what street you grew up on.
In the city I no longer live in, nor do I have any family in anymore.
you know what's funny, actually? I had a friend who listened to her podcast, and she said that she also lives on that street name.
Whoa.
So maybe it's not as doxing as you think.
Is this the Baker Street?
No, now that you just doxed yourself.
Well, because Tecumseh was the public school I went to.
Oh, I see.
But there is a Tecumseh Street as well.
I think so,
yeah. Yeah, because the school is on Tecumseh.
He was a popular guy.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Anyways,
okay,
yeah.
So
I mean, that's also like I think there's a lot of there's a lot of streets in Canada named Tecumseh though.
Yeah, I would not believe. I would believe it.
You don't work.
Okay, now I'm feeling like I'm under pressure here for time. I was like, at half an hour, I'm like, oh look, we're doing so well on time.
We got sidetracked a couple times. That's my fault. But also, you're welcome.
Utah war in 30 seconds. Okay, so Mormons, they hate the government. The government hates the Mormons. They almost started a war, but then they decided not to. James Buchanan was like, actually, let's not go to war. It's not worth it. And then war over. Okay, Bleeding Kansas.
James Buchanan.
Bleeding Kansas gets 2 minutes. So, Kansas-Nebraska Act created. Free soil. We can skip this. Doughface. Doughface this. I'm trying to remember if this is important. We kind of talked about it before. Okay, important part. Here it comes. So, midterm elections. There's this guy named Douglas, and he wasn't very popular. And so he lost the midterm elections. And he was replaced by a man named Abraham Lincoln.
And Douglas was a governor who wanted that train. So I remember that from Franklin Pierce.
Who wanted a train?
The guy, Douglas, wanted the train to go from his state to California.
Oh, really?
But I just remember what his state was. It was, I want to say Pennsylvania, but I feel like that's incorrect. Train. I think that's a really too far up. So it had to have been like...
Well, what was Abraham Lincoln? Because I'm assuming
Michigan?
It would be the same.
Guys, I don't know the
Illinois.
U.S. geography.
Was it Illinois? Maybe. Who knows? Somebody.
What was his first name? Something Douglas?
It doesn't actually say.
I'm curious. Oh, there's James Buchanan is also a member of the Florida House of Representatives currently.
Currently?
Yeah. I don't know. I just Googled James Buchanan. There's a current James Buchanan that lives in our universe who's a Florida representative.
Sounds like a racist.
Florida man. Oh, I see the spooky photo you were talking about with them all like sitting there. Terrifying. That's definitely them sitting at separate times.
Oh, do you think so? They did in...
I think so. Yeah. Because it looks like it's like overflowing a bit. Okay. Give me Stephen A. Douglas. He was, Illinois. He was a state senator for Illinois, which I know because I know he beat Abraham. Abraham ran and Douglas won, but then the second time Abraham ran, he won and then became president.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, he wanted the train. The train. He wanted a train to go from Illinois to California, which is what I was talking about. The different
That's
trains.
still a pretty big train.
It didn't. It didn't make it though. They didn't have enough money to make it.
Yeah.
Still a very big train. Yes.
A big train track.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if you made train cars.
Yeah, you could make a big train.
Yeah, and then just make people walk the train.
Walk. Yeah.
It'd be so counterintuitive.
We don't make the rules. We're simply building big trains.
We don't make the rules. We just make trains. Mashy.
Okay, so I think the most important part about this is the end of his presidency. He was very clear from the start that he'd be a one-term president. Maybe I'll just read. I think I did this last time too. He did not seek re-election, and this is a quote he said to his successor for the Democratic Party. If you are as happy in entering the White House as I shall feel in returning to Wheatland, you are a happy man. So he was not displeased to leave. Again, I'll probably just read this verbatim. In 1860, the Democratic National Convention convened in April of that year, and though Douglas led after every ballot, he was unable to win the two-thirds majority required. The convention adjourned after 53 ballots and reconvened in Baltimore in June. After Douglas finally won the nomination, several Southerners refused to accept the outcome and nominated Vice President Breckinridge, who I believe was Buchanan's VP, as their own candidate. Douglas and Breckinridge agreed on most issues except for the protection of slavery. Buchanan, nursing a grudge against Douglas, failed to reconcile the party and tepidly supported Breckinridge. With the splintering of the Democratic Party, Republican nominee Abraham Lincoln won a four-way election that also included John Bell of the Constitutional Union Party. Lincoln's support in the North was enough to give him an electoral college majority. Buchanan became the last Democrat to win in a presidential election until Grover Cleveland in 1884. So we had a Republican renaissance.
Wow.
And this part too is quite interesting. So this is in regards to this secession. With Lincoln's victory, talk of secession and disunion reached a boiling point, putting the burden on Buchanan to address it in his final speech to Congress on December 10th. In his message, which was anticipated by both factions, Buchanan denied the right of states to secede, but maintained the federal government was without power to prevent them. So the states at this time were thinking of leaving the Union because they knew that slavery was coming to an end under this administration.
Right, so they wanted to break off like Quebec.
Mm-hmm. The French, the trade
romantic trades.
Experts. Yeah, the romantic traders. Not traders. Traders. He placed he placed the blame for the crisis solely on intemperate interference of the northern people with the question of slavery in the southern states, and suggested that if they did not repeal their unconstitutional and obnoxious enactments, the injured states, after having first used all peaceful and constitutional means to obtain redress, would be justified in revolutionary resistance to the government of the Union. So shit's starting to fly off the handle, if you know what I mean. People are leaving.
Yeah, people are mad.
Yeah, and another cool, no, it's not a cool thing, but it's like, just to give you an example of how shit is going off the handle, they started trying to ship, because they knew a war was coming at this time, so they were trying to ship as many weapons to the South as they could before Abraham Lincoln would become president.
Right.
Just because they knew they were going to, just because they wanted to protect their
quote unquote rights.
Yeah, and their federal, I guess, their federal property, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure he would have put a stop to it, right? If he was in power when they were trying to ship, he would have been like, no, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use our words.
I don't think it actually happened. I can't remember why, but somehow it got stopped before. Oh, and also Abraham Lincoln. Someone sent James Buchanan a couple elephants, but it didn't. The message didn't get there till Abraham Lincoln was president. So Abraham Lincoln sent the elephants back.
Good.
And
Good.
I think that's James Buchanan.
Wow. So is James Buchanan your favorite president?
I would say he was. Oh yeah, he was also. This is another thing we forgot to say. He was rated the worst president by historians.
Yes.
And
Which
I would say he's not my favorite.
Am always surprised that. So I like to judge a president by the cover. In that I'm curious, I'm like, because like Franklin Pierce, I was like, oh, he looks, and I've said this before, he looked like a young kind of troubadour coming in and like gonna save the day type of deal. So I find it so funny that the ones that I think look like good presidents are the absolute worst.
Yeah, like this guy coming in like from the last episode, like, oh, the first gay president, he looks like Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah. He's gonna come in and make a new name for what we think the Democrats are of this time. Nope.
Nope. He's a dough face.
Hard nope. Just a dough face.
Nothing but a dough face.
I can't wait to use that as an insult to somebody, and I'm gonna look so smart.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to hear another good one that me and my friend found out? It's called a heel turn. No, it's called a round heel.
A round heel, is that like when you see somebody you like do a 180 to walk away?
No, so imagine it's a word for a floozy of a woman.
Oh.
Imagine that you have there's a pair of heels, but the back ends of the heels are rounded off because they're so frequently being on their backs that their heels have been rounded off.
Whoa.
That's such an elaborate.
I love that.
It's such like you have to do so much work just to understand what it means. Oh, I'm a floozy.
Oh,
That's
wait, you're calling me a floozy? That's what I love. Your father smells of elderberries.
Mm-hmm.
That's from Monty Python, which basically means like your father's an alcoholic because the elderberry was the wine, and then
what was
the other one was your mother's a hamster, or your mother.
What does that mean?
Smells like hamster, which basically means she's just like consistently having like so many children. Like, kind of like a floozy, but, like, more like she just pumps out a lot of kids.
I see. She's a round heel.
Yeah, she's a round heel.
She's a dough face.
She's a dough face.
What if I propose that we, now instead of doing an exit thing, we just play the exit from last time, but it's just going to be my voice.
Yes, I support this.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. The old dough face. That's what we should bring that back, dough face. Are you there? I keep losing you for some reason. I can't hear you right now. I'm assuming you're talking. That's good stuff. Oh no! Alright, okay, so Dutch just sent me a message saying her computer shut down, so I'll wrap it up by myself. Okay, so thanks for coming. We'll see you next week for the double feature, maybe Abraham Lincoln. Oh fuck! I just remembered she might not have saved her. No! Shit. Okay. Good luck.